welcome back. Today's going to be doing a recap of the episode of the anime. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. Episode number 15, the Jura Forest Alliance. You know, I'm going to really try to keep these a little bit shorter because I think really honestly I'm doing these too long and I'm being too thorough sometimes. So I'm going to try to kind of do a quicker recap of each episode, and because I got to be honest, this channel has not been as popular as what I envisioned. I know I got a few subscribers, and I'm truly appreciative of those people that have taken the time to subscribe and also like these episodes and these shows I'm doing. But be quite honest, I'm getting a lot of views, but not a lot of likes and not a lot of subscribers. So I keep constantly trying new things and hoping that it'll pan out. So far, it hasn't. So I'm still trying. So this is one of the new things. I'm going to try to make this shorter. Anyway, let's get started. Basically, just a continuation of the last episode, much like all these are. We get to see what I figured would happen. Basically, by the way, I love this scene. I know it's really perverted, but I just love that scene where Chiron is like got her breast always on, constantly on. Rimuru when he's in his slime form. It's just hilarious. It never gets old. He's just happily sitting there like he's a small child, but it just looks weird. That's funny but weird. And with them just casually sitting there like it's the most perfectly normal thing in the world. But I guess if you're a slime, yeah, that's perfectly normal, They like jiggly things. So anyway, I know. Those chocolates. But it is a funny scene. And we see that the orcs are eventually incorporated. They have a meeting and they basically come up with what they call the Jura Forest Alliance. And basically the orcs are, more or less forgiven. And because Rimuru kind of understood what would happen. They were going through a drought. They were more or less used, and they're truly repentive, and they more or less are incorporated into the lizardmen have no problem with them. The ogres have no problem. Nobody really has a problem with them. Whatever Rimuru comes up with, they're more or less cool with. Because I know he'll be fair, and even the dryad is kind of supervising this, and even she's like, kind of in a weird way, she's almost like pressuring him to like do these things, like it's his idea, like, oh, by the way, let's come out of the alliance, and you're in charge. Like, what? That was kind of funny. I really did enjoy this, but I like the way she's like subtly like I call her like a little. She almost has like a CIA like personality, and she really influences almost as much. She watches everything and she influences and has her hands in everything, So she clearly knows a lot of stuff. So her character is always interesting. I really am amused, by when she shows up. It's always funny. So I like the new opening, by the way, too. I like the way they show like a city. I mean, it really looks like a modern Japan city in like another world. And it's got all these like monsters and, orcs and goblins and whatnot just running around. So I love the new opening. I like the song on the old opening, but I enjoy the opening to this. It kind of tells, where the Rimuru is really heading. I really like that. He's trying to make like a modern city. And once again, we got an excellent shot. Yes, I'm sorry. I just love that shot. So it's hilarious. And yeah, like I said, it's just more about the Dry Forest Alliance, and I really I like like I said, the one other thing I want to mention that the orcs are truly repentive, and we get to see over the course of this episode that Guild, the new Orc Lord, or he's fixing to be, is truly repentive, and they're really not bad. The orcs were really never bad. They're just like they were cornered, and they more or less got used, and they were truly repentive. So I really enjoyed that. Seeing that they truly weren't bad. Yeah, I just love this about the how he got cornered into being the lead, the chancellor. He more or less got cornered by the Dryad into being Traiani, into being like the counselor for the chancellor for the. He got more or less cornered into being the chancellor for the Jura Forest Alliance. It was kind of funny. He's like, well, whatever. And I love the scene where the new Orc Lord, he more or less is kind of walks up to offers his head, and like, come on, I know you just can't give up hate like that. We really like messed up your village, and to the ogres, he's like, just let it fall on all of me. I'll take one for the team, kill me, and then you can get rid of that, completely get rid of your anger. And more or less, ogres are like, whatever, like we're all on the same team, just as far as we're looking at, like, hey, what's you were used, and we're over it. We serve a new Lord. We serve we serve our master Rimuru, and he's cool with you. So as far as and he has to be on his team and be one with us in the alliance. So hey, we're all together. So he's like truly like, and the guy's like really heartfeltly like, wow, like he's actually, you can tell by the look on his face, like, wow, that's really cool. I also enjoyed that, that they were truly, they truly getting along. I mean, there's no animosity at all. They kind of all understand what happened, and they're just moving on, And I love the fact that how the guild was renamed, and he's the new Orc Lord. He's and by the way, I didn't realize that he was the son of the former Orc Lord. If I seen that the last time, I didn't catch it, but I just I guess I missed that last time. But anyway, he's the new leader, and he's a very good leader. And I love how Rimuru is eventually naming. He's got like a lineup of all the orcs that he's naming them. That was hilarious. They're all just standing around like do, like they're getting a paycheck or something. And eventually he turns to putty after he gets through naming them all and everything. And we get to see an update on what is his name? Blah, 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 blah. The lizardmen, Gabiru. He more or less is excommunicated, and they more or less kick him out. And they don't kill him or nothing. He figured they was going to kill him, but no, they just kicked him out. He hit his merry men of little entourage. They follow him with him. I mean, they truly do actually care for him. And that's become obvious in the last few episodes. He's really not a bad dude, but he did some bad things, so he more or less got kicked out. And I can tell by the credits where he's going to end up. He's obviously going to end up in the Jura Forest Alliance, so it's obvious where he's heading. Oh, and we finally get to see the Demon Lord Clayman, and his little henchmen. They more or less are talking about that Rimuru is more or less a thorn in their side, but they're more or less almost amusing. I'm like kind of creeped out by the fact that they know a lot about Rimuru. And they're more or less like, just like, how interesting, how quaint, and they're you can clearly tell that they're like, they may be over his level at the moment. They clearly are not threatened by him at all, and obviously he's scheming something, but he's more or less like just amused by the things that Rimuru is doing. He knows he's going to have to get involved, and their paths are going to cross ultimately, and it's going to battle with them. But it's I was just amazed by and by the way, I like the voice artists for the Japanese version in the anime. They just the voiceover artists, they really do a good job, because their voice is just really creepy but yet cool at the same time. It's just kind of cool. Even though he's wearing a clown mask, he looks like something off Fortnite or something. He's just got this weird outfit. But yet he's like kind of a cool character, and I just like the way he's drinking wine. He's like, oh, how interesting. My plan failed, but I got to see an interesting thing, but whatever. It was just a really cool scene, but and so you'll see some more of them. I'm almost 1,000% sure at some point. They're really two interesting characters. I'm really looking forward to seeing a battle with them, because I think it's going to be really interesting. And we get to see a little bit more about the town Rimuru is building, and it's becoming a modern town. I like the fact that they're showing like he's got like he's talking about like he's got plumbing, like bridges. He's got like a water system, like saunas, and it also mentions that he worked as a as a contractor. So he's kind of like, as a building contractor or something. I forgot the exact way they put it. But, he's got experience with this. So, like, like, yeah, he's kind of more or less directing them how to build a modern, town, village, and, city. I would see easily at some point they would have like skyscrapers and like, a modern city being built up. He's trying to build modern Japan, I guess. He's well on his way. It's like well, all of this eventually brings them to the attention of the, what is his name? The Dwarf King Gazel. Nonetheless, he arrives and he's like, Rimuru more or less kind of like, oh, what do they want? Because he brought like an army with him, on these flying horses, Pegasus things. And he more or less shows up and says like, you know what? I want to cross swords with you. Ramiro's like keeps trying to talk him out of it, but he's like, all right, I get where you're going. He wants to do the old, around this time period, the old thing was like in a lot of animes you see it's like, you don't truly know your, another leader unless you cross, swords with them or, have some kind of battle with them, to see what kind of man they are, what kind of metal they are. And that's more or less what he's wanting to do. He's wanting to, not really wanting to fight him, per se, is he's wanting to spar with him. I guess that's a better way of putting it, like do a friendly spar. And it becomes obvious to Rimuru that's what he's wanting to do. He's wanting to, fight him. And eventually, Rimuru is like a big battle breaks out, and you see that he blocks him, and eventually he's kind of complimenting on his swordsmanship, and it turns out I've seen it before, and he's like what's his name? Hakurou shows up, and he's like, oh, hey, he's Haruku's my teacher, and it's like, well, so is he? He's my teacher as well, and like, and it turns out that he actually knows him, and Rimiru's like, wow, like, what a small world, and eventually the dryad Triani shows up, and he knows her as well, and he's like, wow, he's like amazed, like, wow, this is a small world. Like, everybody knows everybody. Everything here is just so connected, and everybody knows everything, and knows everyone, and somehow is connected with everyone, and it's like, I thought that was really cool. So obviously the Dwarf King Gazel is he's not a bad dude, and they have like a little conference. And by the way, I love his little Japanese like village house he's got. And they're sitting there like drinking tea. It looks like a modern Japanese, like tea house or like something. And they're sitting there, and he more or less, invites him to have like a partnership. Kind of like a. They kind of want to be not really frenemies. That's a bad. They just want to be, he wants to have a treaty with him and more or less be partners, like, if somebody comes along, another threat comes along, we'll help you or you'll help us, type thing. And he obviously at this point he truly likes the Dwarf King Gazel. He likes Rimuru. He sees he's a good guy. He even says that. And he already knows most of the people that, Rimuru is hanging with. So, I mean, it's obvious he's not a threat, and he's not threatened by him. But he realizes that there's other threats out there that he may need him in the future. That, and he kind of wants to put keep an eye on him, because he can clearly see he is growing fast, and he can easily see Rimuru taking over the entire area, and this, it's obvious that's what he's going to do. He sees the future, the handwriting on the wall, that eventually, Rimuru is going to get really big, really quick, and he's going to be a force to be contended with, and he just wants to be friends with him early on, so because he can see that, and also he realizes probably that he's going to draw big attention, which he already has. That's what we see. So I just want to end on the last thing, that when they joined, they kind of come up with we're the Jura Forest Alliance or Federation. He kind of the guy asked him what's the name of your thing. He just kind of like quickly, we're the Jura Forest Federation, and they're like, oh, that's cool. And then they're all like, we love it, that's great. And they're like, well, what we're gonna name? We're gonna name our town the Rimuru. You're like, oh, that's a perfect name. Like, and he's like, no, that's embarrassing. Like, don't name our town me. Like, that's just. I thought that was hilarious. That's a good way to end the anime. It's like, just. I really enjoyed this anime, and Again, I say this every week. I can't wait to see the next episode, and I get to be really sad when this anime ends because I just wish this was one of those animes that just keep going because it never disappoints me. It's always amusing. I love the characters. I love the writing. I love the anime. You know, it's got the perfect blend of like action. It's got a little bit of like little perverted parts every now and then, like funny perverted parts. I love that about animes. I don't like just outright perverted thought. I don't like outright perverted scenes. I like them to have a little bit of humor with them. Like the Benny Hill style like humor with action along with a little perverted humor. I enjoy those things. It just go over the top. It's just a perfect blend of everything. Perfect blend of humor, action, comedy. Good writing, suspense. It's got everything. Cool characters. I just really truly enjoy this anime. And again, looking forward to episode number 16, which will be Demon Lord's Milim attacks. So obviously another battle's in brewing on the next episode. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Anyway, that's all for now. Please subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, or at least like the episode. That's all for now. Catch you later.